If women are allowed to achieve complete equality with men, they will be your masters. This quote, misattributed to Cato the Elder, was suggested to me by one of my subscribers, and it kept repeating in my mind when watching the recently released and publicly acclaimed Joker movie. This idea is paramount to understanding why feminism has been so destructive to the West. We men have so much reverence for women. Medieval chivalry, which its vestiges still survive today, originated from this idea that men elevate women. However, men, because of our objective relationship with reality, our intelligence, our strength, and our assertiveness, we govern and manage societies, as it should be. But as it is in Joker, and in the Western democracies today, masculinity is marginalized and attacked, which results in chaos and destruction. And because men are the assertive and domineering gender, it is masculinity that must be suppressed for women to be equal to men. And thus, you get the movie Joker. I'm going to deal with major themes and points of the movie. I'm not really going to go in order of the movie. And spoiler alert for any of those who have not seen the movie yet. In the beginning of the movie, there was a sequence where the Joker's character expressed a reverence for the late-night TV host, Murray Franklin. An early scene showed the Joker character and his mother, who we will later find out is a psychotic and delusional child abuser, were watching TV together. Then there was a dream sequence where Joker shared a father-son moment with Franklin. This sequence reminded me of an obscure Jim Carrey dark comedy from the 90s, The Cable Guy. In that movie, there was a scene wherein the main character, Chip, as a child was placed in front of the TV to act as a babysitter by his single mother so she could leave him alone for the night as she selfishly pursued her lustful desires. The main character, Chip, adopted a entertainer personality as an adult, which mirrored many of the television shows and personalities which he watched. This is similar in Joker. His mother failed to provide a stable and virtuous father figure for the Joker character. So for most of the movie, he seeks a replacement father to fill that void, and he clinged on to whoever the father figure was the closest. It is suggested in the movie that the Joker character grew up watching the Murray Franklin show. He obviously desired for Franklin to be his father, as evidenced in the dream sequence, and he emulates him by pursuing a career as an entertainer. This, in my experience, seemed to be the practice of the majority of millennials. With the advancements in technology of entertainment in the 80s and 90s, i.e. video games, satellite TV, DVDs, etc., paired with the narcissism of Gen X parents, you get a generation raised by Saved by the Bell, Prince of Bel-Air, and SpongeBob, a generation that is not taught about true virtues like temperance, honesty, humility, and courage, but instead taught vacuous and feminine social niceties, lessons that promote going along to get along. And this is also stressed in public schools too, these little social niceties that teach children to love unconditionally, no matter how destructive the other person is. And it also teaches children to be obedient and docile to a fault. These lessons have the most impact on boys. They neuter them. They teach them that their assertiveness, energy, and ambition is bad. They teach them to worship women's vanity. This has proven to be most destructive on the millennial generation. The loser down on his luck trope that this character of Joker is one that has repeated itself in media for decades. The movie hits every cliched beat that a fatherless nihilist and underdog main character experiences in similar movies. These experiences are like living with his mother, having no love life, having a terrible job which he ends up losing, so on and so forth. Joker's psychosis also mirrors that of the main character in Fyodor Dostoevsky's novel Notes from Underground. The main character of that book has an inflated ego, which demonstrates to the reader that he is out of touch with reality and a bit psychotic. His ego is undoubtedly, in my opinion, a result of the endless, though undeserved praises from his single mother. An ego that becomes magnified because there is no masculine presence to curtail it, to teach the child of the impartiality and harshness of the outside world. However, in Joker, his mom controls the Joker character by putting him down if his ambitions become too large, since she requires his companionship. She is an evil manipulator. Joker, acting as her husband and companion, mitigates the effects of her bad decision to not marry a stable man who will be with her into her old age. This is a common yet unfortunate practice a single mother enacts on her sons. The Joker character suffered from a psychosomatic condition in which he laughs uncontrollably at inappropriate and social situations. This was learned, I believe, by his mother. I heard from a few online reviews of this movie that this psychosomatic tic was a result of him being beaten senseless as a boy by his mother's abusive boyfriend. If that was mentioned in the movie, then correct me otherwise, but in my opinion, the laughing tic was something inculcated by his mother, so he would be unable to speak the truth about the evil abuses she committed on him and her delusions. A gag order prescribed by his mother, which makes Joker awkward and unable to express his true emotions. He wasn't even able to cry, only laugh. And let's be frank, she adopted him solely for selfish reasons, and she spent his whole life projecting her delusions onto him. So let's talk about the world in which Joker lived. A Marxist class warfare theme made a regular appearance. The worn-out rich versus poor trope that goes on in media today. Both of these groups were represented by mainly men, not always, but mainly, and these men were depicted negatively. The first is the affluent, successful top 1% of men. All of them were shown as to be boorish and cold, bereft of any emotion, almost inhuman. The second group were the lower class, single mother-raised, addiction-prone men. They were also depicted in a negative light. There was no truly masculine, virtuous men. No middle class, no intact families either. There was some truth in this, however. Since the dysgenic failure of the baby boomers, Western civilization has decayed, withered of its foundational principles from the inside out. Female school teachers and social workers, as shown in the movie, act as our mothers because our real mothers are at work or out pursuing their selfish hedonistic endeavors. Two state officials represented the masculine role of parentage in our society. The male policemen act as the moral enforcers to keep us in line, and the male politicians provide provisions for us since our fathers are absent or have been scared away by our mothers. Both of these state officials played significant roles in the Joker movie and were the only father figures in the movie. Another salient quote from another Roman, Juvenile, a poet, also rings true in this movie. Give them bread and circuses, and they will never revolt. This parent-state society depicted in the movie provided the bread, which was represented in the state services provided to Joker, and the welfare that supported the single mom down the hall and Joker's mother. The circuses of the movie were prolific as well, demonstrated in a couple highfalutin shows for the wealthy, and the low-income clown entertainment demonstrated by the clown business, and the late-night TV show. It was only until the quote-unquote bread ran out the children of the state became unruly and revolted against their parents, the police, the social workers, the politicians, etc. Also, the state cuts marked the beginning of the proletariat bourgeoisie class tension. Again, the bread taken away by the state. Then when the Joker killed Murray, which represented the entertainment metaphor, this sparked the violent riots of the lower class protesters. So when mommy and daddy state take away your entertainment and your provisions, then that's when society rises up. My last argument is what I believe the point of the movie is. It's a lesson on fatherlessness in society. It's the progressive destruction of masculinity. Masculinity is a great superpower because it directs men into sublimating their desires and energy into productive and constructive endeavors that have created this amazing civilization. However, when masculinity is corrupted by unbridled and feral femininity and suppressed by government schools who drug boys, civilization suffers greatly. And it results in what is depicted in the Joker and what the Western society has now turned into. The masculine is prohibited to uphold principles, protect borders, and assert itself by the rising feminine and the society as a whole. And this is why when Joker looked out his window at Gotham, and when you look out your window or turn on your TV, you see the dying, sclerotic corpse of once great Western cities, a once good and beautiful civilization rotting from the inside. Buildings that once stood tall are withered skeletons of ferruginous steel and chipped concrete. Feral teens, bastard children of single mothers, walking the streets aimlessly just as they walk through their life without guidance or empathy. Vagabonds and the homeless, creations of the state welfare system, undoubtedly wallow in the filth of alleyways, living in worse detritus and dissipation than animals, if one can even call it living. And as it is Gotham's reality, it is ours as well. And this is the result when a culture destroys masculinity. So this was my Joker review. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next video.